Hello friends, welcome to everyone. We are continuing with the series on the psychology of psychological problems. Today we are looking at the school of emotions. In this comes the famous names like Carl Rogers, Viktor Frankl, Fritz Perls. These are the major psychologists belonging to this school of psychology. Let us first look at the person-centered therapy propounded by Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers developed person-centered counseling or client-centered therapy in psychology. According to Carl Rogers, a human being has full potential for growth, fulfillment. What happens to him is not fully developing into the possibilities because of the circumstances, because of the environment. This can be compared to a situation like, suppose you have a potato in the storeroom. What happens to it? It may grow, but it will not grow to its full size. It will grow the same potato if you place it in soil, in proper sunlight, which gets sufficient water, it will grow to its possibilities. In the same way, a human being who does not get a chance to develop into his full potential develops psychological problems. This is the root of psychological problems according to Carl Rogers. And he sums up this idea of problems, psychological problems, calling it incongruity. Incongruity is a division of self. A person's self divides itself into two, his ideal self and his real self, and the two does not match. And when two things does not match in a person's psyche, it will cause conflict. This is the root of emotional conflicts. This is the root of emotional psychological problems in a person. And dealing with this incongruity, this inner conflict is all about counseling. It is the business of counseling. Counseling is chiefly dealing with this emotional conflicts and resolving it to make the person grow to his full potential. Now, to make the concept of incongruity or the clash of emotions clearer, I'll give an example. Look, a mother is vexed, is distressed, unhappy about her son's performance in college. Now what's happening here? She feels greatly distressed because her son does not study well. And now what is the cause of this suffering? The mother feels that she is a failure because her ideal self of a mother is the idea that she must be a perfect mother, and a perfect mother has to be able to make her son study well. This is the cause of suffering. And what is happening in reality? The reality self is that she has a son who is not that good at studies. So this conflict between the perfect model of a mother, the perfect concept of a mother, and the mother who fails because her son does not study is causing the conflict or causing the emotional distress in the woman. Now what is happening here? It is just that it is a conflict of real self and ideal self within the person. Look at another example. A student is very unhappy because he has not performed to get full A+ in the examination. He is very disturbed. He is very unhappy. And what is the conflict here? According to this student, his ideal self speaks to him that getting full A+ is what makes a good child or what makes a person successful in studies. Whereas the real self or the reality is that he hasn't performed well enough to get full A+. This is the conflict between the ideal concept of a student and the reality of the fact that he hasn't got full A+ in all subjects. This is the cause of suffering. This is the cause of psychological distress in a student. I hope this concept of incongruity got to you from these two examples. And the next most prominent psychologist in this school of emotions is Fritz Perls and Laura Perls. They developed the psychological theory of Gestalt therapy. According to Gestalt therapy, the cause of psychological difficulties is lack of awareness of the whole picture. This is the cause of suffering in a person. When a person is occupied with his past memories, past experiences, past bad memories or traumatic experiences, a person is stuck with the memory of the past. This makes him, or this puts him in a situation where he fails to see the whole situation in its totality. The failure to see the total picture is the cause of psychological suffering or the psychological difficulties according to this school of psychology. And this situation often leads to develop a low self-esteem in a person, and this makes him very submissive in nature, and very often he undergoes psychological suffering as a result of this. To get this concept clearer, I will give an example. Suppose a person is brought up by a very authoritarian parent in a home where the situation was like he should never raise his voice. A child's voice should never be heard in the home. This was the way the child is brought up. Now when this person is grown up, he is not able to raise his voice, he is not able to speak in a meeting where the situation demands that he has to speak his opinion, but he fails to do so. It is because of the past trauma, it is because of the way the boy or the girl is brought up in his home by an authoritarian parent. In this way, when there is a mismatch, when there is a traumatic experience, and when there is lack of awareness about what is happening, why he is behaving this way, he may continue to behave in this way, and he may often be distressed as a result of this limitation. So developing awareness is the way to deal with this kind of problem according to Gestalt therapy. Hope you got the concept discussed in this video clear to you. We can always have further discussion on this subject. You can come in the comment box, you can raise your questions in the comment box, or you can contact me directly. We can always have further discussions about any of the topics discussed here. Till we meet with another topic, goodbye, take care, see you again.